there, Facebook. Hey there, LinkedIn. Hey there, YouTube. Wherever you are streaming from today, thank you so much for tuning in to Kari's Corner. I am so happy that you are here today, and I'm just so thankful that you've joined us for an information-packed show yet again. All the information. If you are new, if this is your first time, if you've been here before, whatever it is, drop in the chat where you are watching from. Tracy and I are in the process of getting a map to put up behind me so that I can pin where everybody is tuning in from. So I'm really, really excited about that. I'm super excited about that. I have to pick one out. I got to go shopping. So really excited about the show today. Don't forget, drop in the chat. If you're just now joining, drop in the chat where you're viewing from. And then, of course, any questions that you have, just a friendly reminder that Kari's Corner is a weekly opportunity. Hello. It is a weekly opportunity for you to connect with Worldwide. And I am just a meager English language program coordinator. We have the super rock star Tracy behind the scenes, who's our director of marketing. It's just the two of us, but just the two of us. Anybody else? But we are here to answer your questions, and we are connected with all people all over Worldwide. So I think Tracy and I are pretty knowledgeable individuals about the immigration process. So any questions that you ever have about your process, please use this opportunity to put that in the chat. Ask in the chat because we will answer your questions. I see the chat right there. I see in Zimbabwe. I see in Kenya. Hello in the UK. Thank you so much for watching. So as usual, we've now gotten hello in Ghana. We've now gotten used to starting off Kari's Corner with some fun, friendly announcements. Hello in Qatar. The fun, friendly announcements. And my announcements list keeps getting bigger every week, I feel like. But we do have a webinar next week. It's not really a webinar. It's a streaming. So we'll be streaming it'll be kind of on the same platform, but it will be on Wednesday next week. I'm very, very, very excited about that. Hello in Ghana. Hello in Kenya. So excited to see you here today. Cameroon, thank you so much for watching. But we do have on the same platform that we're using, it's have you asked these questions about your offer letter? So if many of you are getting ready to enter the recruitment phase, you're thinking about entering the recruitment phase, and you're going to be extended after you interview with an employer, if the interview went well. Hello in Nigeria. Then you're going to be extended what we call an offer letter. And it's really important that you don't just look at the offer and go, yay, I got an offer, except no, look at the offer letter, ask those questions. And so our recruitment team, I think it's Amy Carr, Kelsey, who's been on the show, they're going to be hosting a live streaming event next Wednesday. What questions to ask in regards to your offer letter? And that's our recruitment department. Those are the super rock stars of our recruitment department. Same kind of platform, I think. Right, Tracy? There'll be the chat. There'll be the questions. Believe it or not, Tracy and I will be behind the scenes. I get to be behind the scenes. I'm super pumped to actually be behind the scenes. So I will be there next Wednesday too with just backing up Tracy and then our amazing team that we have presenting next week. So make sure you don't miss that. The Visa Bulletin moved up one whole week. That's progress, people. That's progress. We have to celebrate that. Our affiliate company, HRPC, located in Manila in the Philippines, they have an upcoming healthcare recruitment job fair. If you're in the Philippines, where are my Philippines people at? Whoop, whoop. They have a job fair coming up. They'll be recruiting nurses and archive clerks in Zamboanga City. Probably didn't say that correctly. But they'll be joining the Public Employment Service Office, also known as the PESO, at the job fair on February 19th and 20th. So check that out. Caleb has asked a question. Thank you so much, Caleb. I'm E from the Philippines. Go check out this job fair. You've got KBX as your name. I have no idea how I would pronounce that. but go check that job fair out in the Philippines. Caleb has asked, what kind of recruitment do you offer to what countries? First time joining your live. Yay, I'm so happy you're here. So we do healthcare recruitment, to kind of put it all in a nutshell. Majority of our recruitment and our countries that we recruit to it's the United States, and it's everywhere in the United States. I think that we have like one or two states that we may not go to, but you don't want to go to those states anyway. But yes, so it's mostly to the United States, but I do believe we're placing people in Saudi Arabia as well. That's kind of a new venture. It's in the beginning stages of that process. So we do have those opportunities as well, but it's healthcare, and it's the United States of America. That's where we're sending people. So hopefully, she's interested in a nursing job abroad. Yeah, check out that recruitment video next Wednesday, the recruitment live stream next Wednesday. That'll be an awesome opportunity for your wife. But I'm so glad you're tuning in now, because you can still ask all sorts of questions. Are you the same as nurse workforce? You know what? I've never heard of nurse workforce. Oh, in Australia. Or do we go to Australia? I'm not sure. Do we place you? And also, we do not have any placements in Australia. I do know that. We do not place in Australia, because if we did, I would place myself in Australia. I want to go to Australia. So, but RNs, yes. RNs. All the requirements, no offer. Ofa, make sure you're following up. I actually have an email for you, Tracy. I was specifically told if we have people who have submitted their resume and you meet all the nursing requirements, those RN requirements, Brian, we have a new director of recruiting. Brian has asked that you reach out to him directly. Believe it or not, Tracy, he specifically said that to me. He said, send them to me. So Brian, our new director of recruitment, would like to hear from you if you have submitted a resume. And you remember, you got to give it some time. Got to give it a little bit of time. Give it a little small window of time, because we're receiving resumes constantly, which is awesome. I love it. It's a great problem to have. Give it a little bit of time. If you just sent it in yesterday, give it a couple more days. But yes, you can email Brian as our recruitment person. I don't know if Tracy might be able to find his email and pop it in the chat. And I got permission from him to do that, Tracy. So don't worry. There it is, Brian Barry. I was going to say, I got permission from Brian to do that, not to, just distribute his email everywhere. So Brian, if you're interested in applying, if you've already applied and you're waiting to hear back, you are welcome to follow up with Brian. Let's see. Monday. I'm pretty sure, I think we will be closed on Monday to observe President's Day. Or are we open Monday? I don't know. But Monday here in the United States is President's Day. So if you're trying to get a hold of any offices over here in the United States, Monday, most offices are going to be closed. It's an observance of what we call President's Day. That is usually around George Washington's birthday, who was our first president. Abraham Lincoln, who was also a very impactful president. He would celebrate, if he were still alive, a birthday on February 22nd. So President's Day on Monday, if you're trying to get a hold of people in the United States. Mr. Cade's regards, waiting for your ETA. Yeah, that is the immigration process is a big waiting game. It's a big waiting game, but trust your case manager. Your case manager and our legal department are doing their best and following up. A lot of times, once things get in the hands of the U.S. government, that's when worldwide we don't have any control over how quickly they do things. We have no control. I do see a good English question. My English test is expiring the 29th of February. That's my husband's birthday. I have passed the NCLEX. Can you still use it? Or you would have to take another one. Yes. So if it's not part of your visa screen, and that's going to vary state by state for your visa screen, you will have to have a current English proficiency test. So you cannot use expired results when you apply for your visa screen. So unfortunately, but good news is you've already passed it. So you can do it again. Yay! Hello in Gambia. Hello, hello, hello. All right. And then 2 more announcements. Thank you again to everyone who helped vote Worldwide HealthStaff Solutions as one of the top 100 staffing companies to work for in 2024, the World Staffing Summit Awards. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everyone who took the time to vote for that. We have one thing when communicating with your case manager, recruiter, anyone for that matter in Worldwide, and when it's dealing with your immigration, communication needs to be done in English. I know that we have, because a big part of our office is in the Philippines. And so I know a lot of Filipinos would like to speak in their native language or communicate in their native language because you're more comfortable. And you got to remember, our Philippines office, English is their second language too. Right? So this is kind of an announcement to help you prepare for your job. We are not judging you on your English capabilities. That is not what we're here to do. I'm here to help you with your English capabilities, not judge you. Okay. So when you're communicating with our office, we do ask that all communication be done in English. I get all sorts of emails all the time. And yes, I am a former English teacher with all the grammar and all that fun stuff, but trust me, I'm not judging. I am not judging. You speak another language, and that's more than I can successfully do. So 0 judgment there. Let's see. Someone says no audio, but I think Tracy is able to hear me. You might want to check yours out, Jing. Refreshing your internet browser, because I'm hoping my audio is coming through. And then finally, an Iowa testing update. If I have any nurses out there who are going to Iowa, who are interested in jobs in Iowa, if you just want to go to a state that accepts the Pearson PTE, Iowa will accept the Pearson PTE as a part of your visa screen. If you are applying for licensure by examination to Iowa, it is strictly IELTS and TOEFL. But if you are going to be endorsing a license, Iowa, Pearson PTE. We were all under the impression that Iowa was an IELTS TOEFL only state, but nope, they've got a nice little fine print in there that gives you a little bit of wiggle room. So I wanted to announce that to everybody so that we all know. Okay, Tracy, I think I covered all the announcements. I think I got them all. I'm going to break a sweat covering the announcements. But I'm so happy that you're here today. Today, what we're going to be talking about, I was supposed to have a special guest with me, but she has been feeling under the weather. And she is also 2 hours behind my time zone. So if you're sick, I'm not going to ask you to wake up extra early. I'm not going to ask you to do that. Hassan has asked, before we get into what the show is today, what's the best way to prepare for the PTE and the expected time to be ready? Well, one way you can prepare for the PTE is to join my free course, my free PTE preparation course. So if you are a nurse with Worldwide, you have access to our free preparation course. And I get that question all the time. How long does it take to prepare for an English exam? That is going to depend on which test you take. That's going to depend on what your current English speaking abilities are. So I can't give you an exact time frame. For some people, if you're speaking English every day and you feel confident with your English abilities, it may only take you getting comfortable with the testing format. That's it. And that may take 2 weeks. That's it. And you're ready to go. But for some of you you're like, I rarely speak English. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't ever read it. I do listen to it because I like to watch Stranger Things on Netflix. But other than that, my English is meh. Then you might want to take a little bit more time. It is going to take a little bit more time, and that time is going to involve you upping that speaking. You need to be speaking in English at least 30 minutes every day, 30 minutes straight every day. That's like the number one tip that I have for you right there. Even if it's to yourself, talk to yourself. I'm really good at talking to myself. I tell my husband it's the only way I can have an intelligent conversation in my household. Also, one final thing, I hope everyone had a wonderful Valentine's Day yesterday. I hope everyone felt special and loved yesterday. I know I did, so I just hope everyone had a great Valentine's Day yesterday for those of you who celebrated that. So today, what we're going to talk about is I spend a lot of time talking about, recruitments and the job offer. And we're doing a whole show next week on Wednesday about the job offer. we're going to fast forward a little bit because a lot of people like to fast forward and say, well, what happens once I get there? Right? Good morning. Good morning. What happens once I get there? And once you arrive, once you get to, there are 13 stages of our immigration process. So on our end, we're looking at 13 stages. Stage 1 is you're in the recruitment process. Stage 2 is you've accepted an offer, and that really starts the ball rolling on we're going to ask for a lot of paperwork, right? Stage 5 is a big waiting game because your petition has been filed to the United States government. And then once stage 6 hits, that means your petition's been approved and you're working on your visa screen, and like things get a little rolling after that until you start waiting for your embassy interview. You get in queue for that. So there's a lot of pauses and waiting in the process. So after your embassy interview, things are flying. They will fly by, and things will move really quickly. Quick question on the PTE course. So you have to be a worldwide nurse working with one of our case managers, and they will connect you with me. So if you are Nadim, if you are a worldwide nurse and you are working with if you have a case manager, then you can email that case manager and they will put you in touch with me in regards to the free PTE course. So yes, 13 stages. But once you hit what we call stage 12, stage 12 is where you are assigned what's called a candidate support specialist. So you've already been working with relocation coordinator. You work with so many different people throughout this process. You have a recruitment person in the beginning. Then you have your case manager. Your case manager is going to be your go-to, your best buddy, the person driving your immigration, driving all the documentation. Your case manager, that's the heartbeat of the recruitment process, if you will. Then you're going to be assigned a licensure specialist, and candidate support and licensure work hand in hand. I cannot stress the importance of licensure. I know in the beginning, it's about getting all that legal documentation together so that you can legally immigrate to the United States. Licensure is what helps you legally work in the United States. So we need to make sure we have all those boxes checked. So you'll have a licensure specialist that works with you. You have me to help you with your English exam. And then towards the end, you'll have relocation, and they're going to help you book your plane ticket. They're going to help you coordinate where you're staying. And hi, Armstrong. I'm so glad you're watching live. Hello, Matrine. Thank you for tuning in. So what happens? Candidate support and relocation are two different people, and they're there for two different jobs. Relocation is there to make sure you get relocated to the United States as far as your home and your car, and they're going to give you all sorts of resources, getting your driver's license, getting all, the fun stuff of becoming, and working on living in America, right? Candidate support is there to help you be successful in the workplace. They're going to make sure that what's going on between you and your working environment are good, that it's good, that you're showing up for work. That's why candidate support works so closely with licensure, because you can't go to work until you have your license, right? There's Arlene. Good morning, Arlene. Hello, Asa. Hello, Anusha. Hello, Paolo Island. I had no idea where that is. That's so cool. Hi, Edward. So with your candidate support, that's what we're going to talk about today, is candidate support and what that person does. Your candidate support really gets the ball rolling, and it kind of hinges on your social security card, getting that social security card. And because you cannot start working, and for many states, you can't even apply for your license until you have that social security card. However, a lot of things that are required for licensure, you can do ahead of time. Your English exam, if you need that, your NCLEX scores, all of these things, you have a licensure specialist that's going to help you with all that. But your candidate support person is going to be there to help you and guide you. You have to do a criminal background check. You'll have to do fingerprinting, all that kind of stuff. And candidate support is there to help you navigate all of that. The other thing your candidate support specialist does that's really, really important, hello in Nigeria, hello in Kenya. The other thing that your candidate support does, and that's really, really important, is reimbursement. Reimbursement. You heard me right. That means we reimburse you. Now, different clients will reimburse different costs. So this could be something you could ask when you get your offer letter. What will you reimburse the cost of? Okay. Most clients, and this is directly from candidate support, most clients are going to reimburse you on the cost of your visa screen, the cost of your medical exam, transportation from the airport. If it's not, some clients will arrange to have you picked up. It's not even a worry. But if, transportation from the airport, and then your plane ticket, of course. Now, it's just your plane ticket. I want to be very clear on that. They're not going to reimburse you. If you are bringing 5 family members with you, they're not going to reimburse the 5 of your family members. They're just reimbursing your plane ticket. So that's what the reimbursement process is. And in order for the reimbursement process to start, here's the kicker. You gotta start working. So a lot of times people will arrive and they think, okay, I'm here. I need to file for my reimbursement. Pay me back. You cannot count on that money, on having that money immediately upon your arrival. You are not going to get that reimbursement until you actually begin working. So that's why relocation will tell you should be saving money. I know that immigration is a really, really expensive process. It's a very costly process, especially if you have to take an English exam and you have to take it multiple times. Those things are not cheap. The whole process is not cheap. However, you do get reimbursed for some of it, but don't plan on having that reimbursement money be your spending money upon arrival. Okay? Very, very important to be saving money every chance you get, especially once you start the process. It's usually right now, it's like a 2-year process for immigration. Put it all away. Anytime you get change, any dollar, every little bit helps, right? What vacancy work offers do we have? No, we don't. I see what you're doing. We are a healthcare. So we are specifically a healthcare recruiting, healthcare. But we do work with many different hospitals and U.S. employers. But yeah, Tracy he's posted kind of what we're doing and all that fun stuff in the chat. So Tracy's got all the answers to those questions in the chat. Once you hear from your employer and you've received your confirmation of your start date, you move to what we call the final stage, and that's stage 13, meaning you've been placed. And once you start working, we process your reimbursement. Your candidate support person is who is going to send you the form for reimbursement. So there's a specific form you have to fill out for reimbursement. It's very important to be accurate on that form too. Excuse me. And after that, your candidate support specialist and the relocation team together are there to help you and answer your questions. Of course, they're going to encourage you to become engaged with your new employer, to talk to people with your new employer. They're also going to help you, or they're going to encourage you. We can't do it for you, but we're going to encourage you to get involved in your community. Whatever that looks like for you. For a lot of people, that's finding a local church. That's a great way to get plugged in. Community centers, joining in the United States, fitness centers are really, really, really big. And a lot of fitness centers have group classes. And those are great ways to meet people. Is joining a fitness class. Plus, it's, as a nurse, I know that you guys are always very conscious about your health, right? But sometimes it's good to just like unplug and focus on you and your own health for a little while, right? Still very important. You focus on the health of others all day. Take 45 minutes and focus on your own health. You can join a gym. Let's see what else. So their job seems easy enough, right? A candidate support specialist on the perfect candidate, it is. It's very easy. The process goes smoothly. The big thing that helps their job go smoothly is licensure. Is if you've done all you can do for licensure, having everything completed and ready so that you can begin work as soon as possible. That means having the correct English exam. Those are things that will help you get ready to work. So, for example, we have one of our clients, our amazing clients. We love DaVita. They're great. They're all over the United States. So they employ people all over the US. It's really, really great. However, with DaVita, you don't find out your final placement until later in the process, after you've gotten your visa screen. So a lot of people are like, I want to take the Pearson PTE, right? It's the hot test right now. Everybody wants to take the PTE, which is great. But it's very, very important that you wait kind of until you get a job offer so that you can do some research to see where that test is accepted, make sure it's accepted by your assigned state. But for example, with the PTE, we tell people you can take the PTE if you're a DaVita candidate. However, you may be assigned to a state that requires IELTS or TOEFL. And that means it's probably safer for you to take IELTS or TOEFL. That way you won't be asked to retake a test. GD, the age limit. We don't have an age limit. Nope, we do not have an age limit. So there's that. That's a great question. I love answering that one. Do we have an age limit? Nope. We cannot discriminate based on age. That is against the law here in the United States. So yeah, no age limit there. The other question I get asked a lot as far as relocation, as far as candidate support, is you see this word concierge service a lot, right? Concierge service. How about California? Do they accept the PTE? For licensure by endorsement, Connie, that means you already have a valid U.S. license. Then yes, you can take the PTE and head on to sunny California. Absolutely. But this concierge service, a lot of that depends on the client, right? It's who is employing you. So that's something you can ask in your offer letter. You can ask about what is your relocation package. That's something that will be discussed when you're accepting an offer. And it's important to be realistic, right? They're not going to send like a giant Hummer limo to pick you up. You need to be realistic about your expectations around the relocation package of the job offer. So very, very, very important. But again, like I said, all of those things are determined by the client as to what kind of relocation package they're offering. Let's see, how do we get hospitals for our candidates? Well, we have a really, really great account management team. Shout out to Courtney. Shout out to Jim. Jim is our kind of business development guy. He goes out and helps to shop for hospitals that allow us to fill their staffing needs. So we have a whole team that goes out and shops around, and we're very picky about our clients. We are not just going to put you in a podunk, janky little hospital. We are very particular about our clients and the way that our clients treat our candidates as well. So it's a very strategic process and a picky process. One of our biggest clients, and DaVita is probably one of our biggest, but one of our, I guess, star clients would be Johns Hopkins. Very famous hospital network. Great hospital system to work for, from my understanding. Really, really, really great. Can a family relocate at the same time? Relocate? Absolutely, your family can come at the same time. That's part of the process, and that is they have another process. It's called like the something to follow. But yes, most people, I think, bring their families with them. So your family comes with them. It's just you need to understand, when you're applying for your visa and your permits and all that, you will list your dependents, and you have to be, if it's a spouse, you have to be married, and your dependent has to be under the age of 21. So you cannot bring your mom and your dad, things like that. But you can bring a spouse. You have to have proof of that marriage certificate. You can bring a spouse, and then your dependents or your children. If you're pregnant or if you plan on getting pregnant, don't let that hold you back either. I work with so many women who are, you know, either pregnant or find out they're pregnant. How does that impact the immigration process? Super simple. We just add them. We'll just add them right there to your petition. So do not think that that can't happen for you. Let's see. Does Kentucky accept the PTE? It sure does. The Kentucky does accept the PTE. Absolutely. Arizona, is it safe to take the PTE in Arizona? Let me double check. Actually, have my list right here. Have to type it in real quick, so bear with me. Arizona, I'm going to say yes. So for licensure by endorsement, again, endorsement, meaning you have a valid, current, active U.S. license. That doesn't mean you've just taken the NCLEX. If you've just taken the NCLEX, that doesn't mean you have a license. That just means you've passed the NCLEX. And you have to go through a score transfer process, which is a nightmare. So if you have taken the NCLEX and you've got your license in a state and you're endorsing, then yes, Arizona will accept the PTE. Absolutely. Which expenses do you cater for in the journey and which expenses should you budget for? That is a fantastic question. We are, most of our clients, and again, this is not worldwide. Worldwide is not paying for these things. It's whoever you accept your job offer with. Your job offer. So your employer reimburses these expenses. But your visa screen, your medical exam, transportation from the airport, and your plane ticket, not a family plane ticket, but your plane ticket. Those are the four major things. Some clients will pay for more, but those are the four basic ones. So hopefully that answers your question. What should you budget for? In my head, in my brain, I always like to say budget for living expenses for 3 months. 3 months. To have that much saved so that you can live for 3 months, because that's usually around the length of time. That would be kind of the longer length of time, right? To wait for a license to be processed. So I like to say 3 months minimum. 3 months minimum. Your goal should be 6, but 3 months minimum of living expenses. And that's really hard to answer specifically because every state living expenses is different. I live in South Carolina, and when my mom comes to visit from Florida, she talks about how much cheaper groceries are up here versus down there. So living expenses are going to differ based on where you are. Do you base on specialty to allocate direct hospital for the RN? So if you're asking, like, do we place you based on your specialty? Basically what we try to do is, it's my understanding that we look at your most recent experience, your current working experience. So if you're in med surg, we're going to look for a med surg position for you. Now, I know a lot of people will have a preference. Maybe you want to work in the NICU, right? If I were a nurse, that's where I'd want to work because I want to hold the little bitty babies. The NICU. However, there's a placement in med surg and you've done med surg for 10 years or whatever. We've had candidates who get here, they arrive, they start in med surg, and then their employer opens up in the hospital in NICU. And you're like, hey, I've got 5 years experience in NICU. I would love to be in the NICU. That's up to your employer. So what Worldwide does is we'll sign you in, we'll get you an offer for a position. But once you're with that client and once you're with that hospital, sky's the limit. You are in their hands now. You are no longer Worldwide's, to place, right? So once you're there, you're with your employer. And you are welcome to apply. Some employers will reimburse education expenses, right? Or they'll help support you to go further your education if you're interested in that. Okay, let me see. We got some great questions coming in. Great questions. I am here. I'm trying to see them all. Once signed for Arizona, you will definitely assign in Arizona, or the company will assign you for another state. No, I think once you have your state placement, you're there. The only company I'm aware of that doesn't announce your state or will move you is DaVita. They kind of give you an area. They assign you to a group. But it can happen because it's such a long process. So your job reconfirmation doesn't come until much later in the process. So you've signed an offer, let's say in January of this year, in January or let's say it's August 2 years, year and a half later, and you're in the reconfirmation stage, they'll reconfirm your position, right? It may have changed, but you will be communicated with, that will be communicated with you. Okay. It's not like once you arrive, we're going to go, whoops, just kidding, you're here. No, all of this is communicated to you. Every bit of it's communicated to you. So, we're not just going to throw you somewhere. We're not just going to say, all right, have fun, figure it out. We flew you to California, but your job's in Arizona. All right, take a bus, have a good time. No, we will, you have a case manager, that's relocation. You have candidate support. There's so many people touching your specific case that's going to help you. Okay. Does New York accept the PTE English exam? Yep, they sure do. They sure do. New York does. New York's a pretty easy one to get licensed in. Let's see. How about if my NCLEX is California, but your score transferred to New York, which is currently active? How can I get a California license if I have a job offer in California? Did you just do a score transfer to New York, or do you have a valid New York license now? If you have a valid New York license, then you'll just endorse your license to California. Super simple process. We do have an in-house licensure team. Yes, that absolutely will help you with all those. When do you advise someone to take the English exam for someone that has a visa screen certificate, but the exam is expired and you need another one for endorsement so that it won't expire again because of retrogression? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful question. So if you have accepted a job offer and you are moving on through the process, there's kind of a waiting period between stages 5 and 6. That's when we've submitted your petition for approval and you're waiting for the U.S. government to approve your job, right? To approve your petition to come to the United States. Between stages 5 and 6 is always the time that I tell you to focus on your English and your English exam. And the reason is because you're not really doing anything else. You've submitted all your paperwork, your whole life history, everything that the Department of Labor and the U.S. government requires for your immigration. And instead of just sitting there and twiddling your thumbs, you should be working on your English. So that's when I like to tell people, and that's a safe time to take it because your English exam, it's a great question. It does expire in 2 years. And some states will accept an expired English exam. But and some states will accept it as long as it's part of the visa screen. But some states require an active English proficiency exam. So if you are one of those states if you accept an offer in one of those states that that requires an active English exam score, I always suggest between stages 5 and 6 is when you need to go ahead and focus on that and get it knocked out. And that you should be in a safe time frame. Of preparation of, the 2 years once you get between stages 5 and 6. So hopefully, I know, again, retrogression. We all love retrogression. We love it. Just kidding. No one loves it. I think I've answered everyone. I think I've got it. Please do something about the nurse assistants. If I could, I would. Trust me, if I could, I would, but I cannot. Can you ask what is the required score for a PTE? Yes, you can absolutely ask that, and I will answer it. The required score for the PTE is a 55 overall, and no subsection or module lower than a 50. So they have a speaking and writing module, a reading, and a listening module. All 3 of those modules you have to score above a 50. but your combined score must be a 55 or higher. So hopefully I answered that question for you, Phoebe. Why are we not doing right now? Because of retrogression, premium processing is none of our clients are offering it because it's not worth the money right now. It's not really doing much due to retrogression. And I know a lot of people, you're welcome to purchase premium processing on your own. Absolutely welcome to purchase that. But with the current US visa retrogression, it does, just like Tracy said, it does not improve the timing of your immigration process. It's not really gonna help you. So I hate to say it this way, but it would just be like taking your money while you're driving down the road and throwing it out the window. And just saying, here, world, have some of my money. And we should be saving right now, if you're in the immigration process. So that's part of why I love Worldwide so much is we're going to be honest with you. We're going to be honest with you about the timing. We're going to tell you, like we said, we always keep you updated on the visa bulletin, but we do not want you to throw away your money. So that's just the honest answer right there. I'm sorry I don't have a better one. I'm sorry that premium processing isn't doing anything right now. It used to, and we used to offer it, but it's just not doing anything. But you can purchase it on your own. You're welcome to do that if you would like to do that. Can you get the necessary document for a license endorsement for Washington, D.C.? You sure can. You can navigate to the Washington, D.C. Board of Nursing website. You'll be able to find the information there. But if you're a nurse with Worldwide, your licensure specialist will reach out to you, and they send you a beautiful PDF, a beautiful document that has all their licensure requirements, every last one of them for Washington, D.C. So you can either, if you're with Worldwide, you can reach out to a case manager and say, I would like to go ahead and start working. However, with licensure, it's a timing thing, just like the English exam. It is a timing thing. Everything is time sensitive with licensure. So it's very, very important to follow their suggested timeline of when to apply for things, when to get the ball rolling on things. If you do it too early, it will expire. And I've seen people, and we work with people. We don't just leave you hanging. We're going to keep working with you. But I have people who they filed for their licensure earlier than we asked them to, and they were within days of their application expiring because licensure and their process, the boards of nursing process, can take a long time. So it's not just like you roll up to the United States, 2 days later you're at work. No, it takes a little bit of time. So you've got to budget for that time as well. It's not just your arrival time. It's giving that board of nursing time to process your application. And that can be a waiting time. That can be a serious waiting period too. So trust your licensure specialist on timing. Great question for your assigned case manager. Lovely, lovely. Do you have a hospital across the whole United States? Will RNs get the chance to choose their preferred state? So we do have hospitals across the whole United States. Hopefully, I just got a notification that my PC needs to be restarted. So hopefully it doesn't do that while I'm on the show. But yes, we have hospitals across the United States. And when you interview, you will be asked, where would you like to live? Where would you like to work? So yes, we don't it's not a staffing agency to where you submit your application and we place you. No, you have full choice on where you would like to be placed. Absolutely. Hemodialysis, should you have continuous exposure in hemodialysis if you want to apply? It does help to have current experience. Yes, current experience in the department you would like to be working with. Absolutely. Do you need current experience as a dialysis nurse? You have years of experience as a dialysis. We do, and all employers require you to keep current. Be working. Do not quit your job. We need current working experience, and we require validation that you have continued working, unless, you've been deathly ill or you've had a baby. So yes, you are required. Current inpatient bedside nursing experience is Not just important, it is mandatory. It is mandatory. You've got to have that. Our clients expect you to keep working because in the nursing industry, so much changes, right? You take 6 months off, you go back and you're like, holy smokes, what is all this? The technologies, the testing procedures, all that kind of stuff. Things change so quickly. Does Washington accept the PTE? It sure does. Washington, D.C. does accept the Pearson PTE for licensure by endorsement, meaning you have a current valid U.S. license. Current valid U.S. license, you can endorse to D.C. and take the Pearson PTE. All right. I think that is our time for the day. I'm seeing great questions come in. The waiting period from stage 6 to stage 7. Stage 6 to stage 7 is actually a pretty quick stage. That's a pretty quick transition to stage 7. So there's not a long waiting period between 6 and 7. 5 and 6 is the longer waiting period. From 5 to 6 is longer, Connie. So if you're in stage 6, you will be moving to stage 7 pretty soon. Pretty soon. That's a quick transition, quick process. You can ask, that's a great question for your case manager. And every case manager sends out at the beginning of every stage all the documentation, what's going to happen in that stage, all that fun stuff. So take a look at that email and it will give you a general idea. All right. Yes, Phoebe, finish your review, take your PTE and get back on track. Absolutely. Thank you so much for tuning into Kari's Corner today. Hopefully it was informational for you. Jasmine, you need to pass an English exam. You can go ahead and start the visa screen process, but in order to get your visa screen, you will have to submit English exam scores. So that's all kind of nice right there together. So you can start the visa screen process, but in order to get it, you're going to have to pass your English exam. So if you've already applied with Worldwide and working with a case manager, let them know you're interested in one of my free courses. I'm happy to talk to you, happy to help you prepare. But other than that, don't face the corner, face the world with Worldwide. I hope you guys have a great week. See you next week.